Hi, Dick. How are you?
I'm good. Great to see you,
Good,
Ray.
good. For those people who don't know, I'm interviewing Dick Schwartz, who's the founder and the director of Internal Family Systems. My name is Richard Fields. I'm the conference chairman for a conference Dick's going to present at March 10th to the 12th, 2022 in San Diego at the Hyatt. And it's entitled Learning from Psychedelic Assisted Psychotherapy. So my first question, Dick, for people who don't know IFS, can you briefly describe the parts and for me, the importance, I guess, the exiled parts and the importance of engaging and integrating them?
Yeah, yeah. So I learned from my clients that we all have these what I call parts that other
Mhm.
systems call subpersonalities or ego states, and that they're full range personalities, and that they have all these interactions inside of us that often are what we think of as thinking. And as you focus on one at a time and get to know them, they have a lot to say. They have a lot of individuality, and that it's the natural state of the mind to have parts. We're born this way because they're all valuable. They all have lots to contribute to making our lives good. But trauma and attachment injuries has the effect of forcing them out of their naturally valuable states into extreme roles that sometimes can be quite damaging. And some parts, just because they got hurt. Like, you've heard of the inner child. Well, there turns out we have lots of inner children, and those parts are often the most sensitive ones. Before they were hurt, they give us delight and play and intimacy and awe at the world. But after they get hurt, now they have the power to make us feel terrible because they're frozen in the trauma scenes, and they pull us back into that, give us all feel again all those feelings. So because they uh, do that to us, we tend to want to move away from them and lock them away in inner abysses or basements, and just move on. This is a just move on culture, and not realizing that in the process we're locking away our most precious qualities, thinking we're just moving on from memories, sensations, emotions, and beliefs from the trauma. And so they become the exiles inside of us. And when you have a lot of exiles, you feel a lot more delicate. The world seems a lot more dangerous. So other parts have to leave their valuable roles and get into these protective roles to keep the exiles from being triggered and to keep them contained. And so we have a lot of protector parts who, again, it's not who they are, it's the role they had to do to protect you when you were young. So is that enough, or should I keep going?
No, that captures what we're talking about. We don't have as much time, um, and you'll be expanding on this at the conference.
Exactly.
And the next question is, how does this interrelate? There's a lot of parallels here with psychedelic assisted psychotherapy.
Yeah,
Because in IFS, you're going towards the trauma, towards the pain, towards to that little boy who might have been abused or that little
that's right.
girl
That's right.
who might have been bullied or whatever. And we're shamed by that. So we
Mm-hmm.
stay away from that. We don't want to show that.
Right.
But in IFS, you go towards it. And that's what happens in psychedelic assisted psychotherapy as well. Am I right?
That's right. That's partly why I'm so excited about this renaissance of psychedelics, because the medicines have the effect of helping all these protective parts go to sleep or relax for some reason. And people enter a state I call the self in a very full way. And different medicines do it in different ways. So in MDMA, you're in your body and you have this huge compassion, which is one of the C word qualities of what I call self. You feel very connected to the people there, and you feel calm. And that's a big invitation for these exiled parts, especially since the protectors that usually keep them locked up have gone to sleep. And so many people who are taking that medicine spontaneously start doing IFS, just like you said. And they'll see little boys, or they'll see their anger that they locked up, that they now see was a mistake, and they'll let it out. And they're doing it all quite spontaneously, because what I'm calling the self, with a capital S, knows how to heal these parts. And so when they show up, you just automatically start to do what's right to help them. So that's part of what's very exciting. So, when I get stuck with a client, I might have them go and work with somebody who can give them a ketamine experience. Because similarly, with ketamine, you leave, but you access a lot of the big self. And then you come back, and in the coming back period, you have a lot of self in your body, and you can do similar work that you can do with the MDMA. And so, yeah, so I'm excited about it for a lot of reasons, and I'm very thrilled to be part of this conference.
Cool. When you're talking, I'm thinking about, as you're in the psychedelic experience of a guided, assisted psychotherapy, the fear seems to quiet, the anxiety, the depression, that limbic system is shut down, and you're in your prefrontal lobe more. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Well, I can't talk so much about the neuroscience of it, but that's what I was saying earlier, that what I call these protective parts, which carry a lot of fear and anxiety and depression and so on, they open a lot of space. And whenever parts open space, it releases what I call the self, which is an essence that is in everybody, can't be damaged, and is just beneath the surface of these parts, such that when they open space in an IFS, without the ketamine or without the medicine, we spend time getting these protectors to trust that it's safe to open that space. And then people spontaneously start to show all these great qualities and start to heal themselves. For some reason, the medicines make that happen very quickly. So all the parts that typically would be protecting you in extreme ways aren't there. And as I say, that's a big invitation to these parts that you didn't want to be with before, and that the protectors kept locked up.
So does the client move from kind of insecure attachments to the openness to having more secure attachments and better relationships?
Yeah, self is just securely attached, period. The client hasn't necessarily moved that way, but they're accessing this essence that is. And then that self can become the good attachment figure. That's one of the hallmarks of IFS, that rather than the therapist becoming that good attachment figure or some external person, there is this self in us who can do that for our parts. And so this is sort of attachment theory taken inside. The self becomes the primary caretaker of all these inner children, and that actually frees up the therapist to be a secondary caretaker, or the spouse to be a secondary caretaker, which is the reverse of what most of us think. Most of us think our partner is supposed to take care of our exiles, and when they don't, we get very upset. But if we're there to take care of them, then we don't get quite so upset.
So in some ways, it makes the therapist role easier.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot more enjoyable. It's delightful to be with people when they're in these inner places of, they're sort of sacred spaces that you're allowed into with your clients. And so it's almost like you're meditating with the client for a whole hour, and particularly so when it's psychedelic assisted.
Well, Dick, thanks for your time today, and it gives us an overview. And you'll be talking about this in a 2-hour presentation on Saturday, March 12th at the conference in San Diego. If people want information, they can go to Leading Edge Seminars. It's Leading Edge Seminars. And I hope a lot of your people that are interested and involved in internal family systems will have the opportunity not only to hear you and how that integrates, but also we have Gabor Mate, Bessel van der Kolk attending. What's your impression of them, or what do you? I also understand you're coming early to see them as well, which is great.
Yeah, yeah, we're all close friends, and not only from the conference circuit, but we hang out otherwise, um, and yeah, they're the elite presenters on this topic in the country. So I was really, really thrilled to see. It wasn't a tough sell to get me to come when I saw that they were on the roster.
Yeah, we organize it that way.
Right.
First we got Gabor, and then we got Bessel, and then I knew you would come if you had
Absolutely.
time. So, and just our interview is so joyful. I have a sense, like-minded people that have been coming. We only have room for about 500, which sounds large, but considering the topic is not.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be I know there's going to be a real connection and joyful experience.
I'm counting on it, and I plan to contribute.
Thank you. Well, thanks for coming. March 10th to the 12th, San Diego, Leading Edge Seminars. Thanks so much, Dick.
All right, Rich. Thank you.